All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy January 1st. How are you all doing? My goodness, we are here. We made it. We made it to 2024. How are you feeling? I feel like we all need to just take a big in-breath and let it out and let it out with a sense of accomplishment. I know for many people, the last 4 years have felt like quite a gauntlet. I know Spirit has termed the last 4 years as the gauntlet. And it really has been intense. At the same time, we have all grown so much, and there's something to be celebrated with that growth. And so here we are. We're in the energy of 2024, the first day, January 1st, like right on the nose of 2024, a new energy. And so I'm very excited to share some of the insights that my guides wanted to share for this month, for the January 2024 energy update. So let's dive right in. So the first thing they wanted to say is that the energy this month is going to be fast-paced. There is a swift, fast speed to it. And this is so that we can really get to where we need to be going. And so that means there's a high energy for synchronicities, a high energy for things falling into place, depending on where you're at. But there's a high energy of getting things together to be completed, to be worked on, to again, to fall into place. And this is all because we need to be getting where we're going. So the second point Spirit wanted to say is that you will, and again, this is general, but I really feel like for pretty much all of you listening to this, if you're listening to this kind of stuff, you are sitting right on top of the energy of breakthroughs in thought, breakthroughs in life path, and breakthroughs in relationship. Three aspects to that one point. Noticeable breakthroughs in thought, life paths, and relationship. And what that means is you may have reached some real clarity in some of the endings that have happened for you, especially in the fall, especially December. There's a lot of endings for people. And you may find that you're understanding why. And that clarity in the endings gives you then clarity in the new beginnings, which is happening for a lot of people now, is the energy of new beginnings. And this is very, very purposeful. And, I've even noticed in talking to different people, some people that have been struggling for years, like struggling with certain narratives and questions and not understanding parts of their life path for years, having these amazing moments of clarity where, either in meditation or for some people it was, just a step-by-step process, but they find themselves now in the energy of 2024 with a renewed clarity of things that haunted them for a long time. And so this clarity and endings and beginnings is really where the breakthroughs are. And it's a beautiful thing happening for a lot of people right now. So if you're questioning if you did have a breakthrough, or if, this sudden change of thought or understanding you have is real, or is it crazy, or are you making it up? Notice how that new understanding feels in your body. How does it feel when you reflect on it? Because that feeling is going to give you the truth in it. If it's something that doesn't feel settled and it feels like you're trying to force the idea onto yourself, like I know I've been there where I've tried to kind of force a breakthrough, like, oh, this must be the reason why. And I'm trying to force it on, like when you put on a shirt that's just too tight and you're like, no, it looks fine. And it's just too tight, right? Trust the feeling when it doesn't quite fit. Trust those energies when they're not quite synced in yet. There's something more. But if you do tune into that and it does fit with peace and ease, just like when you do put that shirt on that fits, it's just comfortable. It becomes an extension of you. Trust that this is a beautiful breakthrough point. And this is so happening for so many people right now because the universe has been working in our favor to get us online, in line, so that we can move along with this fast-paced energy. So 2024, January here is starting off with Spirit saying full steam ahead. So I find that really interesting. So again, if you find that you are caught up with anything holding you back, any anchors you're kind of dragging, um, it's time to release those and move forward. Now, the next thing they wanted to talk about too was, like I've been mentioning for the last 6 months now, divine pairings. We have been talking about since 2023 that 2024 would be the time of divine pairings on high. And we are now in it. We are getting into that pool of divine pairings. And so Spirit is saying, please stay open to the synchronicities at play. There are a lot of synchronicities happening for many of you, and that is to allow these pairings to come together. Now, these pairings may be in the way of romantic relationships, like I've been talking about. This can also be in business partnerships, in community partnerships, family, friends. But the point of it is, divine pairings are to bring two or more people together to create something new. Because, as written in so many ancient texts, when two or more people agree on something, on a shared idea, a concept, a shared energy, it has an amazing power of creation. Just think about how, to create a life, you require two energetics to come together, two beings, two people. No matter how that life is created, it requires two parts to come together, an egg and a sperm, to come together to create that new life. And so when you have two or more coming together to create new initiatives, we are starting off with such power for 2024 in these initiatives. And like I said, it can come in the form of community initiatives that change things in your community, or a business partner that helps you rocket into where you need to go. Or if it is in relationships or love relationships specifically, don't discount the power of love. I know some people think like, well, that's not going to change the world. It absolutely does. The power of divine love shared between two people and expressed between two people has a massive, massive ripple effect. And so all of these energies starting to make themselves tangible on the planet is so significant for our movement forward. And we're in that pool now. And so one way to think about it, the neat thing is we've been working towards this pool. But think about it, when you go to an actual pool, you're getting in the water and there is like a defined path of the pool, whether it's a square or a circle, it is all contained within that pool. So if you're getting into that pool, you're most likely going to come across that person in some form, right? Because they are housed in the parameters of that pool. So if we're getting into this metaphorical pool right now, that means the universe has designed this divine parameter, if you will, energetically, to create the divine alignments to bring these pairings together. So your energy and how you keep your heart open, your mind open, following your intuitive nudges of when you do certain things help to bring it forward. And so Spirit is very excited about this because they're showing me a pat on the back. And this pat on the back is really for all of you in having cleared out so much of they're calling it a residue of traumas, old narratives, and all of that to make space for the new. You really have. You've carved it out and you've cleaned it out and it's fresh and it's waiting for this new. So Spirit is so thrilled about the new. They're saying, don't be uncomfortable in the new energy. It's cleared out for a reason. Now you get to bask in it and bring in the energy of beautiful creations. And I love that. I think that's so awesome. Okay, the next point they wanted to talk about was a clearer divide in 3D and 5D alignments. And so this is in that consciousness, 3D consciousness and 5D consciousness. You will most likely notice a much clearer divide. And that divide can kind of make you feel a little bit funny sometimes. You may start to notice things that you could let slide before, maybe the actions of people, how people feel. Maybe if someone's sitting in a real anger energy, it kind of bothers you or you notice it more because you're sitting in that 5D energy. And that is a very common thing because when you start to see things from a different perspective, or you start to see what really matters to you, and then when you see people milling around in what doesn't matter, say it's materialism, and you see people valuing everything on something materialistic. And although that's not wrong, it's their journey, it's where they're at. You may feel like a repulsion to that, and that's completely okay. Because maybe where you did see value in it before, you don't now, and you see the energetic difference. So you may start to really notice this clear divide between those in a 3D reality of consciousness and those in a 5D reality of consciousness. And so one thing to consider within that is you don't have to agree with everybody, and not everybody has to agree with you because your perspectives are very different, and that's okay. The thing to focus on is those who um, help you reach your passions and purpose versus those that help to try and pull you down. Where are you aligning yourself? What needs to shift in that? Or do you find you are shifted? And if you are shifted, then that's great. And you continue to reinforce that 5D reality that you're living in, because here's the blessing in that. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with 3D reality of consciousness. It's just, there's a limitation in it. Within 5D reality of consciousness, it is an unlimited place of being, creating, and thinking. And so the reason why so many have been moving into the 5D reality of consciousness is because in that, we get to really jump into this frequency of fast-paced alignment that Spirit was talking about in the beginning. And in this, you will notice if you're really in that 5D frequency of where you are, that, we can even say instead of 5D frequency, it's an open-minded way of thinking, open to new ideas, open to things you may not have thought about before, and open to exploring things beyond your known reality, right? When we're in that energy, we're then more open to an influx of new ideas. And that's where the creation energy is. It's in this influx of new ideas, creating things that haven't been before, or redefining things that have been in a more effective, efficient way of doing it. And again, that can be in form of business, in um, medical initiatives, but it can also be in relationships, in how you interact with people. Maybe where you had a codependent relationship has now developed into a beautiful independent relationship where you desire being together, but you're also very independently your own people. So again, noticing this clear divide in 3D and 5D, notice where you're at in different aspects of your life. For some people, they may find they're all in 5D, whereas for others, they may find parts of them are still in 3D. Maybe they still have some narratives they're attached to in a very 3D way, and that's okay. All of it is okay. It's about choosing where you put your attention, choosing what you heal, and choosing where you spend your time. So consider that. When you're in 5D alignment and you're in flow, the universe will be flowing things towards you because of all the space that you've made. Now, the other point that Spirit wanted to mention too, that we're going to see, and they're saying we're going to see this in January as well, so I'm very curious to keep my eyes open, is Earth movement. There's a lot of movement still happening on Mother Earth. We did see the volcanic eruptions in Iceland in December. There's still more Earth movement to come. And, although there is the idea of storms and things, to me, this feels very earthly based. Whether that be like earthquake type energy, volcanoes, perhaps landslides. Spirit's even saying a shifting of continents. A shifting of continents, and they're showing me that giant crack moving through Africa. The earth is moving and shifting, kind of like readjusting her posture, if you will. If we compared it to a human being, it's kind of like, when you've been hunched for a long time, and then you're like, no, it's time to stand up and, fix my posture and stand strong. That's kind of a way that I could describe the changes and the shifts happening in the earth movement right now, too. The earth very much is its own being and frequency. Mother Earth, as we call her, is, and I talked about this, I think, in Cosmic Consciousness a while back, or maybe on the podcast. Mother Earth is the newest of the earth frequencies, of the earth souls, if you will. The very first earth soul, soul to inhabit the earth as a being, was very masculine in nature. And that's when the earth was very much like an uninhabitable atmosphere. The energy that inhabits the earth now, and you could see it like a walk-in if you want. Mother Earth, though, has been here for eons. And she has shifted her energy into such a high consciousness that the earth is following in that frequency and adjusting where it needs. Unfortunately for humans, that makes it difficult for us depending on where we live, because it does shift what happens to us. And so there is going to be some more shifting of Mother Earth and readjusting, and also kind of like expelling old frequencies too. They're showing me that some of the shifts that happen on the earth are to free up stagnant energies or frequencies. It could be due to what's happening on those places on the planet as well. But it's like a posturing of sorts, but not in a conflict kind of way, but in a readjusting. So we will be seeing different Earth movements still through 2024 for sure. But this is walking alongside humanity's massive, fast-paced upswing in consciousness. So we're not done our rise in consciousness, but the beautiful thing that they're showing me right now is that there has been such massive growth that we are now kind of on a highway working with the universe versus trying to go through the back roads to get to the highway where the universe is waiting. So now we're on like a double lane highway and the universe is driving beside us, meaning the spirit world, meaning our guides, meaning kind of like the galactic community. We're moving into such heightened, fast-paced transformation right now, but on yet a different level where there is more flow that moves in grace with us. Now, I want to say that a lot of that is coming from that higher perspective, and it does not in any way discount or be ignorant to the strife that's going on the planet and the direct effect that has on humans. I mean, the spirit world is very much aware of the calamities, is what they call it. They call it calamities on the planet, and it is so heartbreaking. And it I don't know any human really that could watch what's transpiring and just be like, oh well, you know. However, what I can say, and what spirit reminds me all the time, is for those that are not in those locations where there is war and strife, they can add energy to the collective frequency of hope, of love, of strength and will to carry on through the energy of what they do, through the good deeds of what they do, because it has a ripple effect into the collective frequencies. And so that's one thing to consider of, a lot of the positivity we're seeing happening. There still is a lot of strife and turmoil. However, we need to keep moving forward and keep the light shining bright instead of succumbing to the darkness and the worry and the fear. 2024 needs us to stand in our light frequency. It does. And so the universe is helping to conspire to really facilitate those that are standing in their light to manifest, create the new and the amplifications of the frequencies needed on our planet. So, with all of that being said, I will leave that with you for now. I hope this update helps inspire you, helps you, trust in your breakthroughs, stand tall in who you are now, and support your growth moving forward. And again, I want to say, really pay attention to those synchronicities and the divine timings. If you get a nudge to go somewhere, to do something, to, double check where your keys are, like follow those nudges right now, because the universe is really working to nudge us into the directions that we have been waiting for. So again, I'll leave that with all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I'm so grateful. This is so much fun to do and to share this space with you all. So thank you. Please do subscribe and share if you're new. And if you're listening on the audio platforms, please do rate the podcast if you're enjoying this and share it with someone if they would benefit. So thank you again, everyone. Happy 2024. Happy January 1 if you're watching this on the day. And I will see you all next week.